Imagine waking up one morning and finding out that the entire global banking system has quietly shifted under your feet. No headlines, no warning, no big announcements, just a silent replacement of the financial plumbing that's been running the world for decades. Now here's the twist. The replacement isn't Bitcoin. It isn't Ethereum. It's XRP. Crazy, right? But here's the part they don't want you to know. Banks are quietly choosing XRP over SWIFT. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't just speculation. We're talking about real pilots, real partnerships, and real pressure on the banking system to modernize. And if you don't understand what's happening now, you risk missing the single biggest shift in financial history since SWIFT was created in the 1970s. But stay with me, because today I'm going to reveal why banks are testing XRP instead of doubling down on SWIFT. What's happening behind the scenes that the mainstream media won't tell you, and what this could mean for your portfolio, your future, and yes, even your family's financial freedom. And let me warn you up front, some of what I'm about to share will make you excited, but some of it will also make you nervous. That's by design. Because opportunities of this scale, they come wrapped in both fear and urgency. Now, before we dive in, let me ask you a question. When was the last time your bank made you money? Exactly, never. So why do you think they're suddenly moving toward XRP? Let's break it down. 1. The old guard, SWIFT's stranglehold. For nearly 50 years, SWIFT has been the backbone of global payments. If you send money across borders, chances are SWIFT's messaging system carried that transaction. But here's the problem. Transactions take days. Fees pile up, and transparency? Forget it. Once your money leaves, it's floating in the ether until it lands. Hopefully. And banks? They're tired of it. Corporations, even more frustrated. Customers, don't even get me started. Now here's the cliffhanger. SWIFT itself knows it's outdated. In fact, it's experimenting with new rails, including blockchain solutions. And guess what one of those tested networks is? The XRP ledger. You mean to tell me the very system XRP was designed to disrupt is now considering using it? That's like Blockbuster asking Netflix for streaming lessons. 2. Why XRP, not Bitcoin or Ethereum? This is where the fear kicks in. Because if you've been betting only on Bitcoin as the banking future, the banks don't seem to agree. Bitcoin is slow, volatile, and energy heavy. Ethereum is more flexible but clogged with fees. XRP, it's lean, efficient, fast, and ISO 20022 compliant. The same standard banks are already adopting globally. And here's the kicker. Settlement in 3 to 5 seconds costs less than a penny. Built-in liquidity bridging. This is why Ripple's on-demand liquidity is already used by financial institutions. Not maybe, not in theory, already. But the moves are quiet, under the radar. Because the last thing banks want is a speculative frenzy before they're ready. And here's where things get interesting. Banks are not just considering XRP as an option. In certain quarters, they're already running pilots. 3. The quiet accumulation game. Think about it. When a bank wants to enter a position, they don't shout it from the rooftops. They accumulate quietly, slowly, patiently. Institutions use strategies like VWAP and TWAP, basically stealth buying algorithms, to scoop up assets without pumping the price. And when you're dealing with something as thin as XRP's current liquidity, those moves matter. And let me pose this question. If banks are testing XRP and they're already aligning with ISO 2022, what happens the moment regulatory clarity arrives? Exactly. The floodgates don't just open, they explode. 4. The obstacles. Now let's be real. it's not all sunshine and moonshots. XRP still faces hurdles. Regulatory uncertainty in key markets, liquidity depth for mega banking corridors, institutional resistance to change, SWIFT's efforts to stay relevant. But here's where fear turns back into opportunity. Every one of these obstacles is already being worked on. Courts are delivering more clarity. Ripple is expanding liquidity providers. SWIFT itself is shifting toward interoperability, not monopoly. In other words, the walls aren't permanent. They're just slowing the inevitable. And when those walls finally fall, XRP won't just play catch-up. It will leapfrog. Now listen, if you're watching all of this and thinking, I need to be in the game before this explosion happens, you need a platform that's battle-tested, secure, and trusted. That's why I use BTCC Exchange. It's been around since 2011, offers strong security, and makes trading XRP simple. Sign up with my link below, and when banks start scaling their pilots, you'll already be positioned. Remember, opportunities like this don't wait for permission. You either prepare now or you watch from the sidelines. 1. The tipping point. Imagine the moment when banks officially announce they've adopted blockchain rails. Do you think they'll choose a system that takes hours or one that takes seconds? Do you think they'll risk high volatility or pick a digital asset that's purpose-built for payments? The choice seems obvious, but they won't broadcast it until they've already positioned themselves, which means right now is the window. 2. Signals to watch. Here's what you need to keep an eye on. Tokenized funds and assets launching directly on XRPL. Swift pilot announcements involving blockchain networks. Central banks building corridors with RippleNet. Large spikes in over-the-counter trading volume that don't show up on retail exchanges. Each of these is a breadcrumb leading to the bigger picture. 3. The bigger vision. Let's zoom out. This isn't just about XRP replacing Swift. It's about rebuilding global finance on rails that actually work. Think about it. We're living in the most transformative financial era since the creation of the internet. And XRP isn't a side project anymore. It's on the short list for real. Institutional adoption. This is bigger than speculation, bigger than tribal coin wars. This is about the infrastructure of money itself. And no, your uncle who still writes checks at the grocery store has no idea this is happening, but you do. 4. Closing cliffhanger. So here's the question you need to ask yourself tonight. When history books are written about the moment banking left the Swift era and entered the blockchain era, will your name be in the list of people who saw it coming or the list of people who ignored it? If you want to see how XRP even got here, from its messy beginnings to the edge of global adoption, you can't miss my next video, Entire XRP Story. From zero to global adoption, click it now. Because understanding the past is the only way to be ready for what's about to happen next.